Hello, this is Luke Gardiner, S6029752 for organic modelling. This is my video reflection. Out of the briefs, I had either Skylanders or Disney Infinity to choose from, and I decided to go with Disney Infinity. Something about the design really spoke to me. I've been a massive Disney fan from being young, and the Skyland design just looked a little bit stupid or daft or just generic. I just didn't like the heads. Something about the design just didn't really interest me. And I just really was excited to go with the Disney Infinity, and I just think if you're excited to do it, then that's really what I wanted to go for. When I get handed a brief, what I always start with is block out designs, just like little silhouettes, just on my iPad, just black rough pen designs of just multiple shapes and variety of things that I was interested in. And by doing this, I also looked into research as I was creating my mood board and looked into Disney Infinity to see what interested me. So just by creating the rough silhouettes, I looked into like a strong female characters and also like princess characters, and like the aesthetics of the body, with them being like maybe a broader shoulder and like smaller waist, and the attributes of the clothing and what they're wearing, like the fabrics and the silks, or with it being more like a Star Wars, like a rebel-y clothing with like bulkier wear. I also looked into like villains and rogues and like a monster character, and I also looked into heroes. And I was originally, my first idea was I was going to create like a villainous like character, because my favourite thing about the Disney Infinity models and their gaming characters is roundness. The roundness of the models, like from round to sharp, really interested me, from like the top of the shoulder joint down to like their arm, especially on like the Hulk on Mr. Incredible or the Thing, or Sully from Monsters Inc. That really interested me, so I decided to go down that route. So I was going to make like a villainous monster. But as I did more further research, I looked into characters such as like Baymax and Maui, and the cheeky smile and the look on their face give it that added pop that like a cheeky hero or like a cute hero was just, I think, developed that idea even further. So I decided to go with a hero, bubbly, monster looking character instead of a villain. So from my rough silhouettes, I moved on to some rough sketches just to put some meat on the bones and flesh out my designs even further. And since I've never used ZBrush before, I really wanted to get onto ZBrush and start to learn. So by doing that, I just created some quick 3D blockouts just to see if I was able to do it in my short learning period, and just rough designs, rough ideas to see if I could actually sculpt and see what the design would look like. From there, I moved on to doing some even like refined sketches to develop it even further, and just by doing that, it helped me choose my design of a character called Tua, like kind of a Samoan ancient type of creature, like monster with like elephant feet, but with like huge hands and a bulky body, quite like Wreck-It Ralph. And I decided to, with my refined designs, do multiple head designs, multiple front and back body designs, also arm designs, so I could pick and choose what I like best and chose them and mash them all together to make my final piece, with certain things on the body to make it more interesting. And what was most important to me is I wanted my character to have organic materials and assets on the character's body. So I chose for it to have like rough skin and tattoos, teeth and bone, like woven materials and fabrics, like canvasy materials and baskety materials, and things in that nature, so that the organic sculpting work can be shown to show my techniques within this module. After that, I moved on to colour options after I'd chosen my design. I put on like greys onto the skin and like blues and blacks onto the clothing, and I really experimented with reds and purples and greens and browns just to see what would work best. And I chose to go with a brown earthy colour. I feel like it really worked well with my character's design. After that, I moved on to my reference and material pages. My reference page was just to reflect back on the character's that I'd looked back on my mood boards, on my research, just to show exactly where I've got these ideas from. So if you were to look at my design and think, well, where's he got that inspiration from, I wanted to show it on my reference page. And on my material page, I looked online at like teeth and tattoos and certain things and rope and cloth that I wanted to introduce into my design, just so that when I was sculpting or when I was designing, I could actually go back to these actual primary resources to show where and what it's come from. And then I moved on to my turnaround and pose sheet. You can see the pose sheet here on my iPad. My turnaround pose is obviously front, back and a profile view of my character, and my pose sheet was just multiple different poses for the character to show like a stretching of the arm or leg, or like different areas of the body that I couldn't see, or if it was to move on to a further stage in a real project, the games designer or would be able to see certain parts of the character and know exactly where they've come from. After that I moved on to ZBrush, where I made, like, I was learning the software, which was one of the things I wasn't strong at and I would like to improve. But what I did when I learned ZBrush is I went onto YouTube to work out how to develop my skills, and it was something that my tutor recommended me to do. I looked on YouTube channels such as Draw with Jazza and Flipped Normals, which helped me learn the software better, learn how to view, move, turn, soften, smooth. It just helped me learn the basics of the software. And it was challenging at first, but I got to grips with it, and I started on ZBrush by making the head, and then the body, the torso, the shoulders, the arms, the hands, fingers, legs and feet all separately, so that I could rig them and I could move and articulate the body like an action figure, so that I could make a pose for my final infinity card at the end. And then after I'd sculpted the character, I took screenshots of its 3D turnaround, and then I painted it to make my final product, which then I moved on to for my final piece and my final outcome. Some things that I would have liked to improve on through, and some things I had problems with whilst doing this project, was trying to keep with the Disney Infinity style. As an artist, I'm quite into realism and realistic looks and like getting right into details, and with it being quite cartoon, it's something I don't usually go into. So it was getting out of my comfort zone and learning less is more, and not going into too much detail, and making sure that the silhouette and the aesthetic of the character was in tone with the Disney Infinity aesthetic and look, which was something I had to get used to as I was getting carried away with what I was doing, and had to keep going back and making sure it was correct. When making sure I had my organic assets within it, as I've said, I looked into rough skin and bone, cloth and rope, tattoos, to make sure I hit the brief and made sure it was correct. So that's it really. So I created this character tour. I went through all my steps, such as silhouettes, rough sketches, 3D blockouts, turnaround poses and multiple design work to get to my final piece in which I sculpted my character. It was an up and down journey, which I very much enjoyed the design work and struggled with ZBrush, but feel like with moving forward and developing further, I feel like I can really get to grips with ZBrush and develop from this project. So that's it, thank you.